Fieldhouse on the campus of Villanova University. The Villanova Classic rolls on. We've got another great day of volleyball ahead here at the Nevin Fieldhouse. Michael Marcantonini alongside Nick Montaigne. Nick, it's been a great weekend so far, and this matchup between the Villanova Wildcats and the Fairfield Stags should be another good one.
All the teams we have this weekend, partner, as we talked about last night, conference champions going to the NCAA tournament regularly, but all the super sophomores for Villanova, they're off to a fantastic start, and what a win over Yale last night for Villanova in 5 sets.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to from this Villanova team, and we'll take a look at the Villanova season in review so far. The Villanova Wildcats enter play today 3-0 on the year. 2 players named to the preseason Big East All Big East team, Abby Harrell and Campbell McKinnon. A 5-set win over Notre Dame to win the Catholic Challenge last week. That was big. And one of 4 schools in the country without a true senior on the roster. They have a few grad students, but no true seniors. So it's a young team, but an experienced young team for the Wildcats.
And as we've talked about a lot over the last year, they were thrown to the fire as rookies last year. So by this year, they're basically all grown up, and they're playing like experienced players. And there's a lot of talent, obviously, and this team wants to win.
Been a big reason why this team has started so hot. Now let's take a look at the Fairfield Stags. Well, they are the reigning MAAC champions. They went 17-1 in league play last season, 21 wins overall on the year, regular season and postseason titles. 3 players named to the All-MAAC first team last year, Allie Elliott, Maya Walker, and maybe Krubali. So that's the big 3 right there. And they ended up losing to number 7 Wisconsin in the first round of the NCAA tournament. But just to win the conference again, Nick, very impressive run for the Stags last year, and they return a lot of those key pieces.
They're good every year. They're well coached. Obviously, Villanova's players like Kat Young are a handful to deal with, but Fairfield's won the MAC tournament, like you said, each of the last 2 years. Even with different coaching regimes, they're uber consistent and they're organized. They pass well, they serve well. They're a very consistent team.
The Villanova Classic rolls on. Coming up in just a few minutes, it's the Villanova Wildcats against the Fairfield Stags here at the Jake Nevin Fieldhouse.
When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here. When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here.
Live at the Jake Nevin Fieldhouse here on the campus of Villanova University. Michael Marcantonini and Nick Montaigne with you on the call. It's the Villanova Wildcats and the Fairfield Stags. The Cats coming in at 3-0. The Stags are 3-1. Let's take a look at the head coach Josh Steinbach's resume for Villanova. 19th year at the helm for Villanova. You see the career record right there, well over 500. Nick, he has been such a great presence leading the way here on the campus of Villanova University.
Doesn't get any better than Josh. We've known him a long time. He's just the best guy in the world, and because his kids respect him every year, that's why he's done such a great job. You talk about as consistent as it gets. It doesn't get any better. What a job he's done over the years for decades.
Consistency is key, and that is what Villanova has had with their head man, Josh Steinbach. Again, 19th year for the veteran head coach. Let's take a look on the other side at the Fairfield Stags head coach in Nancy Somera. Just her 3rd season at the helm with Fairfield, but she has plenty of head coaching experience across college volleyball. She's got a 44-19 record so far in her tenure with the Stags. She has a great resume, Nick.
Her whole family knows volleyball. They've all been coaching a long time, so if there's anybody that knows the sport, it's Nancy Somera. She's just been around a long time. Her knowledge is off the charts, and it was great speaking with her the other day. She has lots of great ideas, and the program for Fairfield. They're good every year, as we said in the Open. So they looked good yesterday. I wouldn't be surprised if they play Villanova very tough today.
Yeah, talking about the field for this Villanova Classic, the 4-team field, the 3 teams that Villanova has welcomed in this weekend all won their conference tournament and went to the NCAA tournament last year. So it's a tough early season non-conference schedule, but that always helps teams moving forward when you can play tough talent early on.
You want to play a tough schedule. Not everybody does it, obviously, but Josh knew this was going to be a good team, hence the field is very tough. And you'll get to take on a very talented and physical and long High Point team tomorrow. You beat a really good Yale team that's just a tremendous volleyball squad. And Fairfield, they just keep on winning every year. And that's the tough thing. When you get a winning program, they try hard, they don't give up, and they really hustle.
Like Nick just mentioned, Villanova beat Yale yesterday. They won sets 1 and 2. They dropped sets 3 and 4, but in the decisive 5th set, the Wildcats came back to win 15-9 in that final set. They win 3-2 in 5 sets over Yale. And on the flip side, Fairfield, they lost the first set against High Point. They came back, won set 2, lost set 3, facing elimination in set 4, won that one to even things up. And then they won set 5, 15-13, a really close battle. So they also took a 5-set win yesterday into today. And something's got to give, you figure, today, Nick, with 2 programs that have come out of the chute playing some really good ball. And somebody's got to come away with a W.
How does Villanova respond after a 5-setter last night? It's a long weekend. It's early in the season, but you've gutted out a couple of 5-set wins against Notre Dame and Yale, 2 tremendous teams. So which team passes better? That's always a key, obviously. And we'll see how Villanova does today. We've got to have to wait and see how they come out. And should be a good one today.
Just about ready to go here at the Jake Nevin Fieldhouse on the campus of Villanova University. The Fairfield Stags will open this thing up with the match's opening serve. So here we go. Abby Jandro back to serve for the Stags and sent over the net. Nova controlling. Here's a smash across court and a nice kill there from Kat Young. It's 1-0 Villanova.
And Villanova tries something interesting there just with the rotation with Kat Young on the right side. Alyssa Nelson, a beautiful back set, whereas you usually have Kat on the left, but Abby Harrell's on the left a lot too. So, but Taylor Lewis is on the right like usual. So the usual suspects.
And that's a nice dig right there for the Wildcats, and they get another point out of it. It's quickly 2-0 Cats. This is a hot start for this Nova team.
Abby Harrell scores again. She's your superstar, but this is a loaded roster for Villanova. 10 in white, obviously, will make a lot of the headlines, but Campbell McKinnon went on fire last night to beat Yale.
See what the Stags can do right here. Blocked at the net by 2 Wildcats up front. Reagan McGivern was in on that one, so was Taylor Lewis. And the Wildcats controlling the momentum early. They'll serve again.
That's one of their stars, and Mamie Krubali. Lots of lefties and kids from Dallas this weekend. Yeah. She's a lefty from Dallas, so she checks both boxes, and she is a physical player for Fairfield.
Serve from the Wildcats, ended up tipped over the net. Now the Wildcats running their offense, tip once again, but the Stags keep it alive. Here's the tap, and we've got a little back and forth action right here. Hit over the net by Taylor Lewis, and it looks like that one was in there. They're a little bit outside, off the outside line. So 3-1 our score early on, and Fairfield has its first point of the match. Now a serve from the Stags across the court, outside shot, and the Wildcats are back with the momentum. It's 4-1.
Finding a setter like Alyssa Nelson, the home run feed, you see it there, cross court to Abby Harrell, your star. You saw a lot of that last year. You'll see it a lot this year when you have a super setter like Alyssa Nelson.
The freshman Mary-Kate Ritterbusch back to serve, and this time the Stags punch one across. There's a kill. Now a little back and forth action over the last few.
Some newish setters for some of the teams this weekend, a little bit, but Abby Jandro is a veteran setter out of Minnesota who's been around a long time, so she's experienced. 7 in the black jersey, knows how to direct traffic.
See what the Wildcats can do here. A nice dig there from Delaney Moon for the Stags. They'll keep it alive across the net. The Wildcats with a set from Nelson. The tip at the net from Campbell McKinnon. And that one will work for the Cats. It's now 5-2. Take a look at the replay here. That's a nice save there on the Fairfield side, but too much Wildcat action early on.
So Villanova gets the point as a result, and Ava Harris checks in as the setter in your 6-2 formation that Josh has run for a lot of years.
Smashed across the court. Nice dig right there from the Cats. That was Lola Buck-Taylor. Way up there on the Stag side. Good set there from Jandro. And the Wildcats just continue to go after the ball. A nice dig once again. Well, back and forth action. Another great dig. Another one from Lola Buck-Taylor. But in the end, the Stags get the point. But, Nick, there were a couple really impressive digs right there to keep that point alive for the Cats.
Yeah, Lola Buck-Taylor is off to a good start as your libero for this year. They went with the quick set that time in the middle for Harlan Weiss, who's been blocking very well to start the season, 22 in the black jersey.
Tipped over the net. It's a good spot there, but it didn't quite work. Two in front of the net for the Cats to keep it alive. And now we'll see who can get it over. Now the Stags with an opportunity. And that one goes to the Wildcats. Just a little bit too long near that near far corner.
So they tried to back row attack that time with Allie Elliott, the senior out of Minnesota. Abby Jandro and Allie Elliott played on the Northern Lights team, the club team in Minnesota. So there's a lot of familiarity with the Fairfield players from their youth volleyball.
Nice dig there from the Stags. That was Allie Elliott once again going to the floor. Now the Wildcats will set up shop. Tapped across the net by Ava Merton. Didn't work. And now that one is in for the Stags. They get another point. And Nick, what's interesting about this Fairfield team, they come in 3-1. They've beaten some big-time opponents, but they come in having been outscored by their opponents through their 4 matches so far, which is a little interesting.
That's only because they know how to win. And at times, a team like High Point can look daunting because of their size, but Fairfield showed that they're organized and they know how to win, as we keep repeating. And look at the scrappy plays they've made with their liberos so far. They've been very organized, even when they've been out of system. They hit a pass when they need to, and they quickly get a point out of it. So that's what Fairfield does. They're a winning side every year.
And that last shot, too much to handle for Delaney Moon on the Fairfield side. Now Nova with a 7-4 lead. See if they can add on. Stags looking to regain some momentum. Nice set there. And the kill shot, that'll work. Villanova extends the lead, doubled up on the Stags early, 8-4.
Reagan McGivern, very talented recruit from Kansas City, 44 in white, one of the best offensive middles Josh has ever recruited. And the last serve for Nova, it put Fairfield out of whack.
That one a little bit too far there, a service error. And
Watch
the
out.
Stags will control.
Watch out for Caitlin Cook, partner. Number 8 for Fairfield had a big day yesterday for the Stags. She has a big arm, left pin hitter. She had that nice floater a few points ago.
Smashed across court just a little bit too far. The Stags add another. Just a little bit too much sauce on that one from Kat Young.
Kat Young, one of the many Dallas kids we have all weekend long. I think they were watching Cowboys-Eagles the other night, right? I think we all were. Yeah, I think a lot of people were in this region especially.
Yeah, and a lot of green around the entire Philadelphia region the last few days. Hey, it wasn't pretty for the Eagles last week, but they got it done, 1-0.
Well, if C.D. Lamb catches those 3 balls, right, it's a different story.
Yeah, that's
right?
very true.
Now, the last one was really tough, but he should have caught those other 2.
Luckily, the ifs went in the Eagles' favor this time. Nova looking to add on. That one is sent across the middle. And now the Stags gaining a little momentum. I mentioned that Fairfield entering play today had been outscored by its opponents early on this year. Villanova on the flip side before today, outscoring their opponents 220 to 189 through 3 matches, averaging about 17 points per set. It's been pretty impressive to see what the Cats have done this year.
Maya Walker had that last kill. She's a really good player. They're physical up front, so they can block, and you've seen it a little bit so far. Mamie Krabali, we've talked about her physicality at the net. #1 in the black jersey, and Weish has been blocking very steadily to start this year.
See what the Cats can do here. 2 at the net, and it flipped over the net by Kat Young. That was great recognition by Young to realize that both blockers went up high, and she just kind of tipped it over.
And Maya Walker, another all-conference player they have back for this year out of Georgia, there at the net. So that's a nice finesse move, which you have to do against the block. So well done by Kat Young to read the block.
See if Nova can read the block. 2 go up for it, and they do get the block, and it turns into a little offense. There's another point for the Cats.
Taylor Lewis, #4 in white, out of Indianapolis, is a physical right side player. And Reagan McGivern gives you blocking and scoring as a true freshman middle. So you have good blocking this year for Nova.
Well, nothing you can do about that one. Smashed over the net as Maya Walker brings home another point.
So her brother is Jordan Walker, who plays outfield for the Cardinals, right? Really cool story. Talking with Nancy Somera. Big guy. Boy, that guy's a monster, right?
Imagine being blessed with the genetics of that family.
You're kidding me, right?
Well, that one goes to the Wildcats. They'll take it, especially after Walker smashed one home against them on the previous point.
Yeah, it's interesting the Cardinals didn't hold on to guys like Tommy Edman, Harrison Bader. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and you have to make trades, right? But Harrison Bader off to a good start with the Phillies, and Tommy Edman won a World Series with the Dodgers last year.
Tipped across the net. We'll see if the Cats can keep it alive. Ritterbusch sets for Lewis. Still alive, and another finesse tap at the net didn't work this time. A nice push up in the air by Nelson, and it finds no man's land on the flip side. The Wildcats staying hot.
Alyssa Nelson's from St. Louis, so she knows our Cardinals chatter, right? Yeah, I'm sure she does, right? So that was a nice move by Alyssa Nelson because she's a superb athlete. And both setters wear #7. There's no luck with these #7s. Jandro and Nelson are good setters.
Absolutely. A nice block at the net by the Wildcats. Lewis was there up front along with McKinnon.
Campbell McKinnon, absolute star. Abby Harrell. This is just a loaded roster for Nova. And Campbell McKinnon's block total as a rookie last year was transcendent. Won that Big East tournament basically by herself against UConn in the quarters.
See if the Cats can add another point. Smashed across the net, and another Nova point. You mentioned Campbell McKinnon, Nick. Big East All-Rookie selection last year. She was on the Big East All-Tournament team. She was the Wildcat Challenge MVP last year, and then this year, preseason All-Big East selection, no surprise there. And then the Catholic Challenge that Villanova participated in last weekend, she was on the All-Tournament team. So just racking up the accolades.
And she went into all-time mode last night in the 5th set and carried Villanova to victory.
Well, we will take a quick break here on the Villanova Sports Network, coming back with more action here between Villanova and Fairfield.
When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here. When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here.
Back at the Jake Nevin Fieldhouse, Michael Marcantonini and Nick Montaigne. 15-9 Wildcats over the Stags early in set one. Nova trying to add a little bit more offense here, dumped over the net. The Stags, though, sniff it out. That one smacked across the net from Mamie Krubali, but the Wildcats respond, and they get it over for another point. Nick, they just won't quit in set one.
Alyssa Nelson finding Campbell McKinnon. You like that combination?
Yeah.
Any day of the week.
Yeah, those are the stars for the Wildcats, and now Mary-Kate Ritterbusch, the freshman, back to serve once again. And that did not work out on the Fairfield side. Caitlin Cook couldn't get a handle on it. Nova adds another point, 17-9. Now another timeout on the floor, and you see why. Nova coming out of the last time out pretty hot.
Yeah, hitting 364 already with 11 kills and just 5 total kills for Fairfield, who's been scrappy to start, but Villanova's offense is clicking early on, whereas last night a little bit of a slow start, even though they came back to win that first set and 1 in 5, but a 6-0 run, and you're seeing the offense really continuing their momentum from last night.
Yeah, very pleased, obviously, the head coach Josh Steinbach to see that early run. On the flip side, Nancy Samara, the veteran head coach for Fairfield, when we talked to her the other day, Nick, she was talking about how in these non-conference early season matchups against teams that you don't normally see, it gives you a chance to make adjustments on the fly, and it helps your team moving forward.
But these teams did see each other last year, to be fair, even though it's always a different team every year. So at least the coaches are familiar with the programs and how they play, and they know about Abby Harrell, and she's been such a good player. So it's not that surprising, but it's about tinkering with your lineup early in the season. And talking with Nancy was interesting. No game plan. We're a read and react team. Let's just make adjustments on the fly, which I kind of appreciate sometimes.
Yeah. High up in the air right there, and that's a Fairfield point. Well, you mentioned just kind of reacting on the fly and just making the adjustments. You can't script a match. You know, you can put in all the work that you want, but things just don't always go as you expect. So you have to be able to react on the fly.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of basketball coaches through the years, and a lot of them don't have game plans. They just wait until the game starts, and then they coach from there.
Sent over the net by Abby Harrell. And then another one sent over the net. This time Taylor Lewis and Campbell McKinnon up front are able to dump one over. Fairfield has not had an answer for those two up front early on.
Campbell McKinnon is poised for another big year, and so is Abby Harrell and all these super sophomores. And it's looking like it's going to be a very special season for Nova. And Josh said that before today. The fact that we're this organized early in the season, that's saying that could be a really good year.
Yeah, sometimes it's chaos early on in any season in any sport, but when they've got a very heavy returning roster from last year, it's easier to put things in place early on. And now the Wildcats will serve once again, leading 18-10 here in set one. The Stags looking to make a comeback. Nice dig there by Lola Buck-Taylor. Crushed over the net by Ava Merton. Now set up by the Stags. Another nice dig, this time from Ava Harris. Wildcats will push it over, and right there, Ava Merton just dumped it over the net, and no Stag was in the area. There's another Nova point.
I think because Fairfield has blocking and physicality up net, it's good to throw a lot of tip and roll shots at a team like this to make sure they stay out of system and to throw them out of whack. I don't think you need to go pure power with Nova all the time. You're seeing it play out that way. It's very smart.
So here's Ava Harris to serve. She comes from a big volleyball family. Her dad, her mom, her sister, and one aunt all played college volleyball. She's continuing that family trend. A little bit too far on that hit from the Nova side. The Stags get a point, but I mean, we talked about it earlier with family genes and the athletic genes. How about the Harris family with all those volleyball stars?
Yeah, I'm a setter junkie, so her parents are going to either love me or hate me because I talk about the position incessantly. So mom was a setter, dad's a setter, dad coached her, right? They know what they're doing.
It's another Villanova point, and right now the Wildcats taking control of set one. It's 20-11.
Campbell McKinnon just on fire. Josh raves about her. Great preseason. Ava Martin is the best player in the league out of Creighton, but after that, I think you could throw a handful of players you could say are the next best player in the league because a lot of players graduated from last year in this conference.
Nice setup from the Wildcats there, but that one a little bit too long. The Stags get a point, 20-12. But you mentioned Campbell McKinnon, who has done so much work up front so far in this one. 28 kills during the two matches in the two matchups at Notre Dame and South Bend last weekend. Also had 4 blocks and 2 aces in that Catholic Challenge. Tipped over the net there by Ava Merton, and she is using her height to her advantage early on. She's been able to get elevated above some of those Stags blockers.
Ava Merton has blocking and physicality but she can score with the finesse game. She has a lot of roll shots and craftiness to her game from the right side.
Finesse has been a big difference so far as McKinnon sent it over the net, but then the return from the Stags a little bit too hot for her to handle. So she will check out and Mary-Kate Ritterbusch back in.
Harlan Weiss has been swinging well. Caitlin Cook is a good option. Maya Walker, Allie Elliott. This is a very talented bunch for Fairfield.
Yeah, Harlan Weiss with that last point. 2024 MAAC All-Rookie selection. Obviously progressing in her sophomore year now.
That was a great volleyball play by Ava Harris, the setter, where the ball was a little bit out of reach, but she still was able to find Reagan McGivern, the rookie. So 2 freshmen for Nova connect on that one.
Yeah, give credit to both right there. McGivern kind of went across her body to push that one over the net, and it worked. And that one works in the Stags' favor, and a nice job up front there from Abby Jandro. That was another one where she kind of had to reach back, but just pushed it down in front of the blockers.
Coach Somera spoke so highly in our chat of Abby Jandro. She's seasoned, she's a good defender. Whether they run a 6-2, they slip into a 5-2 sometimes, if they play 2 setters, they play in different systems.
Yeah, too hot to handle from the Wildcats right there. 23-14 now.
But they mostly played a 1-setter formation this year. Kat Young with a smash there.
Yeah, she got up for that one.
Yeah, much stronger, more physical. You thought they were good last year, as we said last night. These sophomores are even better for Nova this year.
Lola Buck-Taylor continues to do the dirty work with the dig. And a nice set up in the air from Jandro. Now sent across the court. This time Buck-Taylor with the set. And it leads to a Villanova point. Abby Harrell, who else? The junior outside hitter comes away with another point. She continues to dominate.
Even when Villanova didn't pass at their best last night, they found ways to score because they made enough good passes on other rallies.
Well, that serve went into the net from Alyssa Nelson, but it went over. But this time maybe a little bit of miscommunication down on the floor. And Nelson almost went into Harrell, and it leads to a Fairfield point. We'll take a look at that last one. You see it hits the top of the net and somehow goes over. So right here, a little finesse shot on the flip side from Allie Elliott, the reigning MAAC Player of the Week. So she's off to a hot start this season. She was also first team MAAC in 2023 and 2024, plus a 2022 All-Rookie selection. So, I mean, the accolades continue to pile up for her on the flip side.
Allie Elliott, she calls her the fixer, Coach Somera. Talk about steady, right? That's a great name to have.
In the middle, smashed into the Villanova blockers up front. And now another one just a little bit too far, and Villanova gets the point. But back to that point about Allie Elliott, I like the quote from Coach Somera. She never has to worry about Allie. She knows that she's the leader on the floor and never has to worry about her.
Yeah, and Villanova wins that set pretty decisively. An excellent start for Villanova where they hit 364.
So Villanova wins set 1, 25-15. Pretty dominant. We'll send it to a break and come back for set 2 after this.
Right here is where you make things. But the most important things you make here are memories. At Freedom, we understand what every part of your home means to you. That's why we take such a personal approach to helping veterans. So while there are lots of workshops, this one's different because it's a workshop in the garage of a home that's all yours. The home that Freedom helped you get.
From a simple fall to game-changing moments. When life gets heavy and you are pushed to your limits, Rothman Orthopedics is here so you can enjoy what matters most. With expert doctors, cutting-edge technology, and personalized care for every patient, we help you find your rhythm again. Your mobility, our mission. Rothman Orthopedics.
When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one because we take care of our own here. When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here.
Villanova takes set one, 25-15 over Fairfield. Let's take a look at one of the stars of this Villanova team, number 0, Campbell McKinnon. McKinnon has been a force for Nova last year, early on this year, but Nick, she's dominated this match early.
Last year, Josh said she's the highest jumper they've ever had in the program. And what we talked about last night, Josh telling me she's jumping even higher this year, which any of us didn't think that was possible. She's the biggest, tallest jumper, best vertical this program's ever had, and she has a great attitude, and she wants to win. You talk about competitive. Josh is so happy that he has a bunch of gamers that want to be good. That's why they all worked on their game in the offseason. That means they want to be good. That's why they're in tip-top season form in the second weekend of the season.
Yeah, you see there on your screen, 19 kills in the win versus Yale yesterday, a 2024 Big East all-freshman selection. And those 19 kills yesterday after 28 over the first 2 matches of the season combined. But just a freak athletically, can score from anywhere on the floor. And she has done that so far, one of the leaders of this Villanova team. And now we get set to open up set 2. Villanova looking to take a dominant 2-0 lead. Nick, in set 1, a big difference were the kill shots. 17 for Villanova, just 9 for Fairfield. And the digs, a big difference. 18 for Nova, only 8 for the Stags.
Lola Buck-Taylor defended very well. She's off to a good start because she's healthy. And Villanova is a good passing team. Imagine when they really pass unbelievably well. It could be lights out for a lot of teams.
Both blockers go up at the net to keep that one alive. And a tip across from the Stags. Villanova keeps it alive. Good set from Nelson. And across court by Lewis. That'll work. Nova leads 1-0.
This group gets in system and moves their feet so fluidly, just getting themselves into position, into the right area. They know their roles very well. They've shown great discipline and organization this year.
Now the Stags will look to return the favor. There's a set from Lola Buck-Taylor, smashed off the net across. And now the Stags will set it up for Mamie Krubali. And when she gets airborne like that across the court, she ties it up at 1.
You hear that word, 3 option, 3 pass, 3 option for a setter there. And a great job by Abby Jandro. She had a chance to go left pin over to Caitlin Cook on the left pin, but she went back set to Mamie Krubali, the lefty, and that keeps you guessing as a defense, especially when the setter's right there in the middle and you're not sure which way she's going to set it. So excellent job. A lot of these Minnesota kids, we have Dallas kids, we have lefties, we have a nice mix of kids this weekend.
Yeah, both teams with a really good mix on their roster. The rosters fit well, the players on the rosters, that is. Now we'll see if the Wildcats can come back. Nice finesse tip there from Taylor Lewis, recognized it. It worked out, but then the Stags send it back over the net, and Fairfield has its first lead, and they lead it 2-1 here in set 2.
That was a close shot, but the pancake there, excellent defending by Fairfield to start. The digs might not show, but they're hustling really well. And Allie Elliott as a 6th rotation kid, the outside hitter out of Minnesota, doing a very good job there. And so far, Fairfield's hustling, but can you stop this great front line of Nova that's been dominating?
Allie Elliott averaging just over 3 points per set so far early on this season. That one a little bit too far, a service error, and the Cats tie it up at 2.
Fairfield serves tough, so expect them to roll the dice and take a lot of chances, like a lot of clubs, to put the other team under a lot of stress.
Nice set there from Jandro, and the Cats go back on top 3-2. Nice block at the net.
You were a very good blocking team last year with rookies, and now you added Reagan McGivern, who's a tremendous blocker, and Taylor Lewis is bigger, stronger, and physical, 4 in white out of Indy, and 44 in white, McGivern, the rookie.
Way up in the air. Nice dig there from Alyssa Nelson. Smashed across. Another nice dig. Lola Buck-Taylor doing the dirty work. Smashed into the net there. And that was Harlan Weitz. 2 Villanova blockers were there anyway, even if that did get over the net.
Yeah, give credit to Fairfield. They're starting to try different things and move it around, not go to the same pin. They tried back set attacking. They're trying different things, but Villanova still being able to read it pretty well.
2 teams have flipped sides of the floor here for set 2. And the Stags continuing the back and forth action here in this set. That makes it a 4-3 the score.
And then they try to slide on the right pin that time with Harlan White. So they're really throwing a lot of options and not doing the same thing repeatedly.
Tough one off the hand there of Reagan McGivern, but the Cats make it work to keep it alive. That one dumped across the net by Harlan White.
Remember we said Fairfield's a tough serving team. That's what Josh was worried about. That was their best serve of the day. Really made Villanova have to work for it. And then you get in system quickly for Fairfield, and your offense gets a point out of it.
Yeah, it just looked a little awkward on the Villanova side right there. And you mentioned, of course, because of the serve, good positioning. Now Fairfield controls with the serve once again. The Cats trying to turn defense into offense. A block at the net by the Stags. And once again, it's Harlan Weitz up front.
Yeah, and Caitlin Cook's serving is a difference. She's a good rotational player. And back-to-back excellent serves, which means it makes your offense slower, and then you get your block set up a lot quicker as a defense in Fairfield. That's what good serving can do.
Fairfield has taken control, but Villanova, just as I say that, gets another point to make it 5-5. Whereas Villanova ran away with set 1, we're seeing a lot of back-and-forth scoring here in set 2, a lot of physicality on both sides.
And Nancy Somera's team, they're clearly making adjustments. And the block was there, but give credit to Taylor Lewis. She made a good play on it.
Harlan Weitz's shot denied and smashed across the court. A nice dig there on the Fairfield side from Moon. And Fairfield, because of that dig, was able to keep the point alive, and they get the point.
Josh was raving about Delaney Moon, their sophomore libero, out of Dallas.
Yeah, I was going to let you say it. I knew where you were going.
There's a lot of Dallas kids here this weekend.
We're now 6-5 or 6-6 now, tied once again. But Delaney Moon, the job that she did to keep that point alive, very impressive. Sophomore libero, defensive specialist.
She's wearing their libero shirt this year, Delaney Moon, and she's off to a good start this year. Very impressive player.
There's a service error on the Villanova side right into the net, and Fairfield regains the lead at 7-6.
Yeah, Nancy Somera thought her team competed hard last weekend, and West Virginia added a lot of transfers, and that team came back and beat Fairfield, but they competed hard last weekend down in Norfolk.
Yeah, Nancy Somera definitely mentioned that they very well could have been 3-0 coming into this weekend, now 3-1 after the win yesterday. And Villanova keeps that alive, a smash across the net. And now a tip over the net from Mamie Krubali, but the Wildcats, no issue there, but that one a little bit long. And the Stags at a point. Just too much sauce from Ava Merton right there.
Yeah, it's funny, that pass over to Mamie Krubali, it's not where she thought it was going to be, but she still scored off of it. Sometimes it's not where you want it to be, and you still get a point.
Yeah, using her long arms to her advantage. Tipped over the net and kept alive there by Krubali. Now the Wildcats take advantage of a little bit of dysfunction on the Fairfield side, and not like they tried to do that, but they're just a little bit out of sort because there were so many up front trying to block that last shot.
You have such good frontline players in this Villanova Classic that even if your setting's just a little bit off from match to match, you're still going to dominate because you have kids that can put the ball away, even if it's not in a perfect place. Between Abby Harrell and Campbell McKinnon and Mamie Krubali, High Point's loaded with talent on the front line. Yale is a superb squad. Your setters just have to be good. But Villanova has 2 really good setters again this year.
Just dumped in the middle there, and Fairfield adds another point. They lead it by 2 now, their largest lead of the set at 9-7. We'll take a look at the replay right there. Just nobody home as Allie Elliott, the reigning MAAC Player of the Week, adds another kill.
But I always give credit to setters, as many people know me by now. And it's, if you don't have a good setter and you're not setting well and you're not passing well, every volleyball person knows that. It takes time. Now, obviously, the delays this weekend, it's because of how hot it is outside and it's humid inside Nevin with no air conditioning. So there's sweat on the floor after every point. So they have to mop it up, and it's a lot of delay in the action, Mike.
Absolutely, and you don't get into as much of a flow as Ava Merton sends one across the net for a point. Hey, do we get somebody up here mopping up the sweat as well?
No, I need a towel for your forehead and then one for mine as well.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, no AC. I mean, that makes a big difference. But yeah, the stoppages of play, we've seen quite a bit of them. That shot tipped, and Villanova, looked like it was too long right away, but it was tipped, and the Stags get the point.
Caitlin Cook had 14 kills in the win over High Point yesterday. That match had 22 ties and 9 lead changes. Even though Fairfield hit just 110, they had a whole lot of blocks, and Caitlin Cook did enough. That team did enough to win.
Fairfield coming in, averaging about 2 blocks per set. Seems a little low based on what we've seen in this tournament, but there's a nice dig from Mary-Kate Ritterbusch to keep it alive. A dig and a dive. But it ends up with another point for the Stags. Caitlin Cook, just a finesse shot across the net, realized she had a hole in the defense there.
A lot like when Yale made a change in their lineup last night and put Mendoza in and played all the rotations very well. Caitlin Cook is doing that so far in the second set with her scoring and her serving.
Yeah, Caitlin Cook can do a little bit of everything. This time Villanova gains a point to make it 11-9 and stop the Fairfield run.
If you get good 6 rotation players that check a lot of boxes, that means you'll have a winning team every year, because those kids are very versatile, obviously.
And Nancy Samara told us that you'd like to have your rotation set pretty early on in the season. You'd like to get some consistent play from your starters to know that that's going to be your rotation. Maybe Krubali looked like she was going to wind up and smash it home, but realized mid-attempt in the air that she could just tap it over, and it worked.
Villanova was the 3rd best blocky team in the Big East. We chronicled that last night, and you'll probably be even better this year because you add in Merton and McGivern to make you even stronger up front, and Fairfield can block. That's why you're seeing all these finesse shots.
Good work by the Cats to get that one across. Ritterbusch helped out, and now she dives for it, can't make the play. And although Villanova kept it alive, when you've got players running across the court like that, then the next shot, it makes it easier on the flip side.
Yeah, Nelson's such a big-time athlete, and then Abby Jandro, the setter, got the dump. Jandro's about 5'8", but has enough length to make plays like that.
A really impressive dive from Nelson, and now blocked at the net by Reagan McGivern. She sends it home. Nobody home to try to defend that.
Very athletic move by Reagan McGivern. I don't think people realize how hard that is.
3 up front for the Wildcats at the net. They send it over. Sent over the net. Nice dig there from Kat Young to keep it alive. And now 2 up front. Nice blocking tandem of Reagan McGivern and Taylor Lewis. And the Wildcats add another point.
I would say out of all the teams this weekend, Fairfield might be the fastest offense, and they're quick, and they're trying different ideas and sending it to different pins, and they really keep the tempo up and make you have to work for it.
Caitlin Cook back to serve right here after 18 kills in week 1. She's off to a hot start in the Villanova Classic. She adds another one there, and it's 15-10 in favor of the Stags. We'll step aside and regroup when we come back here on the Villanova Sports Network.
When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here. When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here.
15-10 Fairfield over Villanova in set two. Michael Mark Cantonini and Nick Montaigne with you on the Villanova Sports Network. Let's take a look at number 12, Maya Walker for Fairfield. She has been a force for the Stags. And Nick, we talked about her earlier. She is a big presence out on the floor.
A top flight blocker, a lot like Campbell McKinnon being a big jumper. She has a 10-foot vertical as well. She's maybe the best jumper you could say Fairfield's ever had. She really can get up there, and she's worked on her arm speed. So she's known as a physical blocker, and she's gotten even faster with her attacking.
Incredible athlete. She has made a big difference for the Stags, but right there, nobody's going to make a difference more than Abby Harrell for Villanova. The kill across court, and that's huge out of the timeout right there.
She has the best nonchalant look in the place, right, when she hammers the ball, right? No problem. That was just a rocket shot.
Yeah, I mean, nothing new for her. And Villanova adds a second straight point on the service ace. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication on the Fairfield side. That was dumped in front of the libero right there.
Yeah, nobody really would have predicted a year ago that Mary-Kate Ritterbusch was going to come in and be this impactful right away, and she has. She has worked her tail off. Josh is so happy with her. She has been passing so well from the preseason into the first few weekends, and another dynamite serve for one of your new liberos.
Nice block up front, and who else but Campbell McKinnon leading the charge at the net.
So Villanova keeps adding players, and they're all playing. So who cares about being old? Everybody says you need seniors.
Right.
Well, if you're good as sophomores and freshmen, why not?
There's another dump across the net by Harrell. Nice dive on the other side from the Stags, and the Stags turn defense into offense. You could see there on the flip side, the Stags fired up because that was inches away from being a Nova point. It turns out to a Stags point.
And we haven't mentioned Natalie Carlin, the DS, 18 in black out of Virginia. Just another hustle play defensively.
And there she gets the dig. That was a tough one to handle, but smashed into the net there by the Stags. Villanova adds a point.
That's a shame because Fairfield was starting to build some momentum on some of their passing. They tried the back row set behind the 10-foot line. Just a little bit of an unsuccessful shot for Caitlin Cook, who's made 4 attack errors.
So now for Villanova, Ava Harris back to serve. She gets one over. Set up for the Stags, sent across the net by Elliott. And now crushed over the net by Abby Harrell, but it's handled by the Stags. And there once again, Maya Walker up front. She gets another kill.
Boy, Maya is a terrific player, isn't she? Coach Somera just had the best things to say about her because she's worked on her game a lot, and she's always been a good player. So like a lot of the teams we've seen this weekend, they graduate a lot of good players, but they have a lot back.
Yeah, Maya Walker, you see, showing some emotion after that last point. Now her shot blocked this time. And now another attempt from Allie Elliott, and she continues to make her presence felt. It's 19-13 Fairfield.
We saw Campbell McKinnon and Maya Walker both block each other a second ago. 2 big jumpers basically jumped out of the gym that time, and a timeout for Nova.
So the Wildcats down 6. Fairfield, after losing set 1 25-15, they've gained some momentum for the first time in this match. You see there. Go ahead, Nick.
These teams played last year, and Josh missed the match because he was sick. So Joe Portland coached the Wildcats to a 3-1 win last year. Kat Young had a big day. Campbell McKinnon hit over 400. So just like Yale, you played these guys last year, and Villanova beat the Stags a season ago, and Fairfield got a 5-set win against Nova here in 2022. So these teams have played each other a lot over the last couple years.
Yeah, familiar with each other. You mentioned the win for Nova last year. They won 3-1. It was September 24th, 2024 is when they last met. The all-time matchup between these two programs, 3-3. So something's got to give here today. Somebody's going to pull ahead in the all-time series between the two squads, but it's been tight.
But very tight. I remember talking to Todd Kress, their old coach, who took the San Jose State job a few years ago. That was his second stint at Fairfield. His first stint was a little bit shorter, and then he went to Florida State for a long time, and then was at Fairfield for over a decade. So I'm wondering if he'll come back to Fairfield for the third time's the charm, maybe in the moonlight of his career.
Yeah,
right?
You figure the opportunity might be there. Out of the timeout, the Stags send it across the floor, and it's flipped across. It ends up with a Villanova point. Looked like the Stags on their side weren't ready for that one.
Yeah, one of those 50-50 type plays. Fairfield's played a lot better and have been more organized and throwing some wrinkles at Villanova in this second set. And the Stags hitting 448 to start this set.
Well, the Stags pick up a point right there on the service error.
Yeah, we talked about making adjustments, right? Nancy Somera said we're a read and react team. Maybe it takes a set, but they figured things out in set number 2. So it kind of makes sense based on what she told us.
Yeah, they are reading and reacting extremely well here in set 2. They've controlled most of the way. A double dig right there from the Cats, flipped across the net by McKinnon. And now a set there from Merton, and it's smashed home there by Kat Young. Well, the Wildcats needed it right there.
Yeah, Kat Young was awesome at Notre Dame with 17 kills and 14 digs last weekend. Has another big arm for this team.
Yeah, coming off a big double-double against a tough Notre Dame team. Always impressive to see that early on. This Nova team showing great poise, although they trail by 5 here in set 2. There's a set from Jandro. And nobody went after it on the Cat side. You had about 4 defenders all close, and it fell between all 4.
That's a veteran play by a senior setter in Abby Jandro. Her footwork was outstanding there, off balance, but she still got herself together, and it ended up being a point. As a good setter can make it happen for you.
Abby Jandro is an assist machine, but she comes away with the point there. But now this time, the Wildcats return the favor with a point of their own, 21-16, so still a 5-point lead for the Stags here in set 2.
Yeah, and the more Ava Harris plays, she can hit the home run pass just like Alyssa Nelson. Ava Harris is a big-time recruit. Comes from a huge volleyball background, obviously, as we've talked about. So there are a lot of people that watch Ava Harris play.
There's a serve from Alyssa Nelson, blocked at the net by Reagan McGivern, but that one falls off the hand of Taylor Lewis. And the Stags stay hot. They lead it by 6.
Fairfield and Quinnipiac, they're probably the 2 best teams in the MAC, like a lot of years. And Elena Giacomini, the reigning player of the year. She's the preseason player of the year. So you feel like those 2 teams will battle atop of the MAC, just like it's been Creighton and Marquette most years. But obviously Villanova is going to be a player this year. Villanova, UConn, St. John's, plus those 2 unbelievable teams at the top. But 2 new coaches. That's the big news, of course, in college volleyball with all the coaching changes.
Well, you talked about kind of what's going on in both conferences. On the Big East side of things, Villanova in the preseason coaches poll was picked to finish 5th. And that's big time for a program that is looking to just continue to trend upwards.
But now only 4 teams make the Big East tournament this year, whereas it had been 6, and Villanova got in as the 6th seed the last couple years. Now you've got to be in the top 4.
In the meantime, Abby Harrell continues to dominate. She's done such a nice job coming from the side, and she gets another kill.
Talk about being in your top 4, a little MySpace era throwback. She would have been in, I think, a lot of people's top 4, top 5 back then.
No doubt about it.
You got to sneak in MySpace references. Right?
Any chance you get, bring it back.
Bring it back, right?
Well, the Cats looking for another point. Tip drill at the net. Lewis kept it alive. And now Harrell once again, but too far out of play. And it works in the Stags' favor. They add a point, and now it is set point at 24-18 in favor of the Stags.
Now Fairfield has played very well in this set, but hold the phone here.
Stoppage in play out on the floor.
Unless it's a challenge, and Villanova is challenging. You get 2, And then you get an extra one for the 5th if you end up losing one. But if you keep winning your challenges, you retain them. Now the MAC is interesting. They went to 8 teams for their conference tournament. They whittled it down to 6 teams for this year. So the conference is always trying different ideas every year. So we'll have to see what happens here on this replay. If Villanova can steal a set point away.
Yeah, that would be a huge swing, of course, to avoid going to set point, and obviously you get an extra point on your side. So we're talking a difference of 24-18 or 23-19. And now we'll take a look at this last play. So hit up in the air by Kat Young for the Wildcats, and now little slow-mo replay action at the net. Tip drill from Abby Harrell. Was contact made on the Fairfield side? You see the ball land out of bounds, but was there contact at the net? So right there's a good shot. A little flip shot. But Abby Harrell sent it over. Did one of the Fairfield defenders make contact?
Right
That's
there.
pretty close, Nick.
Right there might be the ticket for the officials who get to look at it for today.
And we're looking at Harlan White right there, 22 in black for Fairfield. And the point goes to the Wildcats. So an excellent challenge there from Josh Steinbach and the Wildcats. And now it's 23-19 instead of match point at 24-18.
Yeah, so the up and the down official making sure they get that call right. And I think Nancy Somera understands it.
Yeah, that was a great slow-mo replay. Our crew did an excellent job giving us both angles on both sides of the net right there. But you could see a little bit of contact from number 22, Harlan White, for the Fairfield Stags. And the ball looked like it got redirected a little bit, and that kind of gives it away. Now, Mary-Kate Ritterbusch sends it across the net. And it turns into another Fairfield point. Past 2 defenders for the Wildcats right there.
Really good job by Abby Jandra to set the setter to get into position that time to make that set happen.
And now it's set point for the Stags. And Villanova avoids losing the set right there. They get a point back.
Abby Harrell with 9 kills to lead all players. She's at it again. No surprise for 10 in white. Next to Ava Martin, she's as good as a player there is in the entire Big East.
So once again, Villanova looking to avoid falling in set 2. Here is Emma Vu, transferred to Villanova after 3 years at Iona.
Graduated in 3 years.
Yeah, and she sends one into the net. That's a point for the Stags. And they even this match up at 1 set apiece. They win set 2, 25-20. Pretty impressive work from the Stags right there to come back after Villanova dominated set 1. But we are all even at a set apiece as we go to set 3 after another quick break here on the Villanova Sports Network.
Right here is where you make things. But the most important things you make here are memories. At Freedom, we understand what every part of your home means to you. That's why we take such a personal approach to helping veterans. So while there are lots of workshops, this one's different because it's a workshop in the garage of a home that's all yours. The home that Freedom helped you get.
From a simple fall to game-changing moments. When life gets heavy and you are pushed to your limits, Rothman Orthopedics is here so you can enjoy what matters most. With expert doctors, cutting-edge technology, and personalized care for every patient, we help you find your rhythm again. Your mobility, our mission. Rothman Orthopedics.
When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one because we take care of our own here. When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here.
Tied at 1 after 2 sets. Villanova took set 1 25-15. Fairfield 25-20 in set 2. Let's take a look at the series history between the Wildcats and the Stags. We mentioned earlier, tied at 3 games apiece. We'll see who takes a lead in the series with the win in the match today. Villanova won the last match between these two teams last year, 3-1 in September of last year. And Alyssa Nelson, 5 aces, a season high, 26 assists, 10 digs. It's been a really competitive match so far today, Nick.
And Villanova held the Stags to 123 last year. The Stags just had a big second set, and Villanova hit over 300 in that second set, but Fairfield was even better, so the offenses really took off. The last time Fairfield was here was that 2022 5-setter that Fairfield won, where Rose Christ had 23 kills, and KJ Johnson, she was the big star for Fairfield a couple years ago, 15 kills to beat Nova. You might remember that KJ Johnson started her career on that 2019 Baylor team that got the #1 overall seed in the NCAA tournament that season.
So far through 2 sets in this one, Villanova with 30 kills, Fairfield with 28, so very close in that department. You look at the hitting percentage, Villanova at 365, Fairfield at 286, so a little bit more success from Nova, maybe a little bit more consistency. And they also lead in the dig department, 28-20, and they lead in blocks as well, 4-2.
Yeah, we've seen scrappy play and good enough passing, but I think we've seen finesse shots. Now we might see more power shots from a lot of the players. So just being organized and the setting, the serving for Fairfield started to put Villanova maybe a little bit off balance, but there was nothing really Villanova did poorly in that second set. You just give credit to Fairfield. They played very good volleyball.
Yeah, whereas in set 1, Villanova really controlled throughout. There wasn't really a point in set 1 where you're like, all right, Fairfield is going to go on a run. They didn't really have the momentum. It was a little back and forth, but then they pulled away in set 2. And coming into this match, based off the way the two teams were playing, Villanova and Fairfield, this kind of had the feel from the jump that we could see a 5-set match. And now it's still early. One of these two teams could win the next 2 to end it in 4. But the way things are going right here, it might come down to the wire.
And Fairfield's had more swings today, and that increases your chances. Fairfield did have more swings than Villanova in that second set. But this is nothing Villanova can't handle. They're battle tested already for a group of sophomores. They're ready for prime time, clearly. There should be a good next set coming up here between these two.
Set 3 between the Wildcats and the Stags. We'll see which of these two teams can carry the momentum into set 4 with a chance to finish it off in 4 sets. So this is a big set right here. Set 3 with things tied at 1 set apiece. The two teams are out on the floor. Villanova just finishing to see who they want to send out there to start set 3.
Now, Mike, all the interesting news in college volleyball last night came down with Penn State unveiling their national championship banner, losing in straight sets to Kentucky at home. Izzy Stark, the reigning freshman of the year, #1 overall recruit, led Penn State to a national title last year. I think she's the best setter in the country. She's going to skip and miss the rest of the season with mental health reasons. So that was the big news in volleyball last night. Izzy Stark, the setter for Penn State, is going to sit out the rest of the season. And we just hope she does better in her journey. And it's a very important topic, and it just shows you, even with all the success, people sometimes need a break in life from everything.
Absolutely massive news, and even if somebody looks like they're okay on the outside, you just never know what's going on inside. So best wishes there, and yeah, it's important to talk about it. You know, in sports, not in sports, that is big news, and obviously a little bit upsetting news, but hopefully, you know, it's only up from here.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people saw that coming, and nobody would but that individual. So kudos for her for speaking up about it and sharing that. because it's not easy to just step away when you're a big-time star like that.
Right, a lot of pressure and, you know, eyes on you all the time. But if somebody doesn't speak up, you know, you can't educate other people about it. So pretty cool there.
And Penn State's had some struggles. They have a new-looking lineup, even with their new star, Kennedy Martin, the Florida transfer. But when you have new players, it takes time to get used to one another. But I was saying to everybody, well, at least they have Izzy Stark, the best setter in the country, to direct traffic. Now it makes it even more of a struggle on the court.
Right, well, the hope is that they get her back relatively soon. And so far, Villanova, a 2-1 lead in set 2, but not anymore. Now we are tied at 2. A little back and forth action. Caitlin Cook sends one across the net for the Stags. And we just mentioned it a few minutes ago. Tied at 1. This is a big set right here against two programs that have matched up well against each other in the past. And Villanova looking to take another lead. That one smashed at the net across by the Stags. Up in the air there, and the Cats get it across. And once again, Caitlin Cook making her presence felt. She sends one over, and it's 3-2.
Villanova missed the set that time, and that last serve put Villanova into scramble mode. So Fairfield was able to get in system a lot quicker and keep Villanova on their toes.
There's a service error from the Stags. We are knotted up at 3. Villanova will take that.
Caitlin Cook has a big arm, but she went with a back row shot the last time. Caitlin Cook's a fun player to watch. Plays all the rotations. She scored last night. Here she is.
There's a set from Jandro up in the air from Cook. And it works out off the tip. Fairfield gets the point.
Yeah, at times Caitlin's cooking, right? At times she has the big arm. Other times she's back row playing all 6 rotations. And Josh wants to challenge this one.
Well, the last time he challenged a play, it worked out in Villanova's favor. It turned out it didn't matter too much. Villanova finished off, or excuse me, Fairfield finished off set 2 anyway with the win. But Josh, he clearly picks the right spots to challenge.
He knows what he's doing, that's for sure. 5 straight 20-win seasons for Fairfield. They've had so much success. 6 straight regular season titles, back-to-back conference tournament titles. They've been so good. You're not surprised they're giving Villanova a good match.
Absolutely not. So now we'll take a look at this last play that is currently under review. A nice slow-mo look as Caitlin Cook went up and smacked it over the net. And they say that it was tipped by one of the Villanova defenders at the net. We'll see if this challenge works out in the Wildcats' favor.
This might end up being a good challenge for Coach Steinbach, and the players might have spoken up about how they didn't touch it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, and it's always tough to tell with those slow-mo looks, but it turns out that it goes as a Villanova point, so another good challenge.
Josh is 2 for 2.
That's got to feel so good where you challenge a close play like that and you win it, and you've done it twice already. Could prove to be big in this pivotal set 3. Now the Wildcats add to their lead. Up in the air, Campbell McKinnon sends it home.
So I'm not sure if Abby Jandro knew if her teammates knew where she was going with that last set. And Villanova took easy control of that. Fairfield looked a little bit confused. She was trying a back row set that time.
They got that one past Delaney Moon. Now the Wildcats will look to stay hot and build their lead. Abby Harrell sends one off the arm of a Fairfield defender. And now it's a 3-point lead for Nova, doubling up on Fairfield 6-3.
And I'm not saying Abby Jandro is small, but Abby Harrell on most setters, she's going to win that one-on-one matchup against a lot of setters, a lot of matches. And Rose Christ had a big day against Fairfield setter a couple years ago because Rose 6'2", and she was left with that one-on-one matchup a lot. Sometimes that's just the way the matchups work out, and the adjustment wasn't made, and she was in that rotation a lot that day. That's why Rose Christ had over 20 kills.
There's a service ace from the Wildcats, and they are gaining some momentum as Ava Harris picks up the ace. And now Kat Young back to serve. She had 4 aces in the Catholic Challenge last weekend. Good one over the net there. Once again, the Wildcat blockers up front doing their jobs. And once again, Campbell McKinnon delivers.
Abby Harrell hitting over 300. Campbell McKinnon, just one error with 9 kills, hitting over 600. Your 2 stars are big-time stars.
Star talent was going to be key in this matchup. Both teams have it. And once again, Campbell McKinnon showing that she can do it in all facets of the game. Just blocks one at the net, sends it over, and that forces a Fairfield timeout.
That's the 3rd block for Campbell McKinnon, and obviously she gets her hands on a lot of balls, and I think Nancy Samara is realizing that.
9-3 Villanova, so we will take a quick break and recap this run for the Wildcats when we come back here on the Villanova Sports Network.
When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here. When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here.
9-3 Villanova over Fairfield in set 3. We are knotted up at 1 set apiece, the Cats and the Stags. And Nick, so far Villanova dominating set 3.
Campbell McKinnon knows how to take over a set. We saw it in the 5th set last night, beating Yale.
A nice sliding dig there from Ava Harris to keep it alive for Villanova. A set from Delaney Moon from Fairfield. There's Lola Buck-Taylor getting one up in the air. Smashed across by Abby Harrell. This is a good back and forth right here. And it ends with a Fairfield point to end the Villanova run out of the timeout.
All right, here's another lefty. We haven't seen her yet today in this one. It's Emma Bortolotti, the Italian lefty, 6'2". She'll play the right side a lot this season. They've already used her. They used her last weekend, and here she is.
There's another Fairfield point back-to-back. You know, I was waiting for Emma Bartolotti to come in just so I could say that beautiful Italian name.
Yeah, I was waiting, and she's a fantastic-looking player. Watching some of Fairfield play last weekend. Another big lefty. We have tons of lefties this weekend.
That's been a story. Smashed across court by Abby Harrell. She gets another kill. And that's big for Villanova.
And Nancy Somera is trying to put in a bigger player on that right pin to match up against Abby Harrell in this rotation, but Abby can score against anybody.
Right. You mentioned all the lefties. Well, Josh Steinbach has said in the past that adding some lefties into the Villanova program, it gives them some variety that they haven't had in previous years.
Oh, fantastic smash that time by Allie Elliott.
She really does it all. Looking for her 3rd straight first-team All-MAC selection this season.
7 kills and no errors for Allie Elliott.
That's efficient. Nice dig there from Harlan Weitz to keep the play alive. And now the Cats send one across the net.
With a lefty.
Yep. Kept alive there by Ava Merton to get it across. Now Harlan Weitz, the opposite 22, gets it across. Mary-Kate Ritterbusch sets up Merton, and Merton sends it home for the point.
Merton has such a good change-up shot, and she has the height to be a physical blocker, but in terms of her scoring, she can throw a lot of knuckle curves at you, right?
Yep.
Little Aaron Nola action at you there, right?
Well, you were talking about the big difference on the side for Fairfield. Allie Elliott, you got the 7 kills, no attack errors, no service errors. How about a little basketball reference? That's like when you've got a point guard who's dishing out assists and not turning the ball over. It makes such a big difference for a team's offense.
And Coach Somera said about Allie Elliott, she makes a point out of a bad play. So even if the set's not perfect, she knows how to score if you're in a pickle.
Villanova to serve. There's Alyssa Nelson. Now the Stags regrouping defensively. Blocked at the net by 2 Wildcats. Another block, a nice job by Reagan McGivern to keep that one alive. Harrell tips it across, up in the air. Now the Stags, nice block up front by Harrell and McGivern, and Villanova ends up with the point.
All right, so Fairfield might challenge this, and Nancy Somera grabs the card. And the other change is they have switched setters as well. So Abby Jandros out, and it's now Zofia Sikut, the freshman setter out of Germany, who's bigger and taller. So they're adding more length into the lineup. So this is Coach Somera just reading and reacting, as she says, making changes and throwing wrinkles at the opponent. And here is their new setter, the rookie out of Europe, who might provide more blocking and more length at the net. And this might be a good idea.
Right, and we didn't see a lot of changes in the rotation through the first 2 sets for Nancy Somera's squad. But to your point, recognizing that this was an opportunity to make a couple of big changes. And it's not like she's just going towards the end of the bench and saying, hey, we'll give this a shot. No, you look at Bartolotti and Sikut, they have made a big difference early on for this Fairfield team, at least last weekend, and now coming into play today trying to make a difference.
Yeah, and Coach Somera said last weekend we were trying a 5-2, then we slipped into a 6-2, but it might be beneficial to play a 6-2 with both setters, but they might roll with just one setter, one bigger kid in the front row, and then maybe Jandro just playing back row at times. So she's trying, again, tinkering this time of year to see what the best lineup is going forward.
Right, and the goal is to get another weapon on the floor. That's why you go from the 5-2 to the 6-2 as we take a look at the last play that is currently under review that Nancy Somera and the Fairfield Stags have challenged. So right now, Villanova leading 12-6. They were awarded the last point. We'll see what happens. And it looks like Somera loses the challenge. Villanova keeps the point.
I think it might have went off of Bortolotti. She went for the swing. Now she missed it short.
Yeah, so there's the replay. Now Villanova to serve. Once again, it's Alyssa Nelson. Had a good freshman season, back for another. And now Nelson in the middle, sets up Harrell on the outside, and that works.
So again, you put bigger players over on that pin for Abby Harrell, and Maya Walker coming out to help, who's a good physical player, and Abby Harrell still scored against it.
Yep. Tough to defend. I mean, you mentioned it earlier. Abby Harrell doesn't show a whole lot of emotion. Just kind of cool, calm, and collected out there on the floor.
Yeah, she's a steady Eddie, that's for sure. Her freshman year, most freshmen get tired. Not her. Josh said she was a rock that entire year to win Big East Freshman of the Year back in 2023.
Had a stellar career, and it's only going to continue. Nice dump over the net from the Stags. And on the flip side, Taylor Lewis sends one over, but it ends up with Fairfield grabbing the point. It's 13-7 now, and Villanova in front.
Another good block by Maya Walker. Boy, she's a terrific player up front at the net. Number 12 out of Georgia.
Hadn't heard her name much in set 3, but she gets in on the action right there. But she played a big role in the first 2 sets, especially set 2, in which Fairfield won 25-20. Now we'll see what the Cats can do to respond. Harrell smashes it over, but it's McGivern who puts it home off the deflection.
Oh, that was a neat volleyball play by Reagan McGivern, showing how athletic she is. A mobile middle, right? Abby Harrell cranks it off of the block in the ricochet to McGivern, right spot at the right time.
Yeah, just reacting to the play, helping her team get the point. Now Harrell sends it over the net, and she ends up with an ace. Abby Harrell doing it all. She had 4 aces during the Catholic Challenge last week. She was the Catholic Challenge MVP for good reason.
She would have been my pick,
yeah.
Right? What a weekend she had.
There's another Villanova point, and now the Wildcats dominating set 3. It's 16-7 all of a sudden.
16 kills and no errors against Santa Clara. I mean, she took over that match. They could not stop her.
Now a timeout on the floor because of this Villanova run. But right now, I mean, early on in the set, a little back and forth with the points. You know, 2-1, 2-2, then 3-2, then 3-3. But right now, Villanova not really making any mistakes out on the floor, and it's led to this big lead.
Yeah, I think Villanova's just turned it on, and this is with Fairfield trying to put bigger players into the game and just trying to throw that monkey wrench at Villanova. But the Wildcats are working on their game well enough where they're reading the block and they're mixing it up, and suddenly they're going to more power shots and not as much of the finesse game, which we kind of predicted and thought it might play out that way. And right now, Villanova's on a nice roll.
Wildcats 16, Stags 7 in the middle of set 3 here at the Jake Nevin Fieldhouse. This is part of the Villanova Classic between the Villanova Wildcats, the Fairfield Stags, and then you've got High Point involved and Yale involved in the tournament.
We see the Yale coaches on the stage next to our camera crew scouting this one as they'll play tonight. They're really cool to see that Nancy Samara's daughter Miley played libero for Yale, and now Miley's an assistant at Wesleyan with Nancy's husband Ben. So a nice connection. We talked about it last night. There's Aaron. Really cool family story.
Volleyball family through and through. Well, out of the timeout, Harrell sends one across the net, and a nice job by McGivern to get it over along with Kat Young. And Villanova adds another point, dominating set 3. It's 17-7.
Reagan McGivern, 5 kills, no errors, 3 blocks, doing her job.
Up 10, the Cats looking to add on, and they do. Another ace for Harrell. That was great, a great shot right there. Dropped it in low, and not much that the Stags could do.
That's the 3rd ace for Abby Harrell, and it's all been in the last couple minutes.
Yeah, last year, Josh Steinbach said when Harrell came onto campus that she would be impactful right away. Well, that was an understatement, and she has continued that now in her 2nd season.
She hit the ground running a couple years ago as a freshman. They just fed her a ton, big arm right away, but the complete package for Abby Harrell.
Sent that one into the net. Now Fairfield serves. Villanova still leading by 10. Make it 11, 19-8 Cats.
Yeah, most teams think, well, Cable McKinnon's off the court. Ooh, we catch a break. No, now you have another scoring middle like Reagan McGivern. I can't remember the last time Villanova had 2 unbelievable middles that could score like this. Probably 2019 when Sophia Howling was on that team with Ali Olsonowski. 2 scoring middles.
It just does not stop. Villanova's so deep. And they now lead at 20-8. Well, you mentioned that 2019 team. That was the last time that Villanova had a winning record in Big East play. They went 13-5 in conference play this year, or that year, and they're looking to get back to over 500 play in conference play this year. This could be the team to do it.
That was a great run. A lot of those seniors really peaked. Ali Olsonowski had a fantastic year. That team beat Creighton here at home late in the season. Made the Big East tournament. It was a really fun fall 2019.
20-9 Villanova lead, and that one does not get over the net. Just a little bit too short from Delaney Moon right there. Villanova leads by 12.
Well, that's called aggressive serving, which means you roll the dice and you take your chances and you don't play it safe, and you appreciate when teams do that.
Just to wrap up that point about Villanova and what could be expected in conference play, Villanova was either at or above 500 in conference play 5 straight years from 2015 through 19. They have not been at or 500 in conference play since 2019. But, Nick, you've talked about it. We've talked about it. Very good roster this year, and they're a deep team looking to make some noise. Speaking of making some noise, Mamie Krubali, who we haven't heard much of in this set, smashes one across the floor. She gets the point for Fairfield.
Yeah, they're going to need her, and she was the MAC tournament MVP last year. Coming off a terrific season, had a good weekend down in Norfolk. Another Dallas kid, of course, lefty, right? We're seeing still a lot of them this weekend.
A hotbed for talent down there. Set at the net by Harris and sent across the floor by Kat Young. That works for the Cats, 22-10.
Big D, right? Kat Young, another Dallas player, right? Big D's for Dak, right? He played well the other night, didn't he? Yeah.
He did. I mean, talk about a guy who, whether he plays good or bad, just consistently gets criticized.
He's beat the Eagles a ton over his career.
Nice block at the net, and it was another two-person front, Merton and McKinnon, the double M's.
Merton's a physical addition after playing at Cal.
Yeah, Ava Merton, after 4 years at Cal Berkeley, comes to Villanova, and that's just another talented player that joins the fold. And now after that last point, it's set point for the Wildcats, leading 24-10.
Yeah, you're up to 7 aces, and a whole bunch of them are in this set. And we thought it might be Fairfield serving. It was looking like that in the set, too. That might throw a wrench at Nova. Right now, it's Villanova's serve game.
Set point for the Cats, and they get the 25th and final point of the set on a service ace. Villanova wins set 3, 25-10. They didn't just win it, Nick. They dominated it.
The service receiving there for Fairfield did not get the job done.
So Villanova takes a 2-1 lead. We'll go to set 4 after another break on the Villanova Sports Network.
Right here is where you make things. But the most important things you make here are memories. At Freedom, we understand what every part of your home means to you. That's why we take such a personal approach to helping veterans. So while there are lots of workshops, this one's different because it's a workshop in the garage of a home that's all yours. The home that Freedom helped you get.
From a simple fall to game-changing moments. When life gets heavy and you are pushed to your limits, Rothman Orthopedics is here so you can enjoy what matters most. With expert doctors, cutting-edge technology, and personalized care for every patient, we help you find your rhythm again. Your mobility, our mission. Rothman Orthopedics.
When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one because we take care of our own here. When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one because we take care of our own here.
Getting set for set 4 between Villanova and Fairfield. Let's take a look at the first 3 sets here today. Villanova dominated set 1. They won it 25-15. Fairfield came back with a 25-20 victory in set 2, and then Villanova continued its dominance, 25-10 in set 3, and now they can finish it off here in set 4. Nick, it was a really impressive run for the Wildcats. They closed out set 3 on a 4-0 run, but it felt like a lot more than that because they really dominated throughout.
A really complete set by Nova. The serving game just was spectacular with all those aces. Both setters did their job finding different pins. They started to go with harder shots on the left pin to Abby Harrell, and Fairfield did not have the block ready. And Villanova quickly went to its middles, and they keep you guessing. Then you have 2 scoring middles, obviously, for Nova. And Josh has so many toys to play with for this year. Got a terrific coaching staff. Poised for a big year.
Such a deep athletic roster, and they're dominating a Fairfield team that has racked up the accolades over the last few years. Back-to-back MAC championships, trips to the NCAA tournament. Now here in set 4, the Cats will look to finish things off. That just was a little out of sorts right there on the defensive side for Villanova.
Yeah, every set you get a fresh start. So now does Fairfield make the adjustment like they did in set 2? Maybe kind of a back and forth we could see, because you have good teams all weekend long.
Yep.
So you don't expect teams to go quietly.
Both of these two teams went to 5 sets in their matches yesterday. And right there, Villanova ends up with a point to even things up. That ball was blistered across the court.
Taylor Lewis, just a solid start to the season. We've seen a lot of Ava Merton, who checks back in to be on the right side, as you'll see a combination of both players. When Ava Harris checks in, Ava Merton comes in this 6-2 for Nova.
Harris sends it across net, but it's smashed home there by Maya Walker, who continues to factor into the outcome of this one on the Fairfield side.
We mentioned the speed of Fairfield's offense. They quickly got in system, and they made it happen. They've gone back to Abby Jandro as the setter.
Tip drill there for the Wildcats to get it over. Now the Stags can set things up offensively, and it leads to a Stags point. Too much for Abby Harrell to handle right there. And it's 3-1 Stags.
Caitlin Cook's a youngster, but expect her to be in a big role to be one of their primary pin hitters. Plus she plays all the rotations, and she's gotten a lot of swings the first couple matches of the season for Fairfield. So Caitlin Cook should be primed for, I think, a big season for Fairfield.
Well, give and go action right there. Too hot there off the hand of Kat Young. They set it up well, the Wildcats. Just too far over the back line.
They say deflection, point
okay.
Nova.
All right. So deflection. So it works out just as they drew it up, right?
Yeah, and Fairfield not complaining, so Nova takes the point. Even Josh was looking over there if they might challenge it.
Oh, he's 2 for 2 in challenges so far today. This time didn't need to challenge. Well, this time Fairfield gets the point, doubling up on the Cats 4-2 early. Well, anytime in this one that we've seen Josh Steinbach go to the challenge, it's worked out. 2 for 2, and if we had to see it again, he would have won it again. Set up for Campbell McKinnon, that works. I feel like that always works.
Ava Harris with a quick set. She missed the last one. We'll do better on the next one. That's the idea. You're going to obviously take your lumps as a freshman setter. It's not easy to be put in there right away, but Ava Harris can handle it because she played at a big-time club level.
Well, misdirection there off of Campbell McKinnon's hand. And the Stags add another point, 5-3. Caitlin Cook has been so key for the Stags today, especially in their set 2 victory. So far, helping her team get the lead in set 4. Pushed up across court to Harrell, a finesse dump handled by the Stags. And now a dump from Reagan McGivern. McGivern blocking at the net. Villanova gets the point.
Yeah, they're saying 4 touches on Fairfield as they try to get out of a mess that time.
Yeah, talk about a mess. It ends up with Villanova getting the point. So they'll take advantage of that unforced error.
And Alyssa Nelson back in as the setter.
See what the Stags do offensively. Nice job by Lola Buck-Taylor to get that one across on the diving dig. Smashed again, Buck-Taylor sets. Now another set from Nelson. And Villanova turning garbage into gold. They get the point.
Beautiful shot by Taylor Lewis. Alyssa Nelson throws her a dime, and just a great job for Villanova. Look at this, Nelson, beautiful push.
Yeah, really all the way around. Lola Buck-Taylor with the diving dig, and then you mentioned Nelson with the set in. And after that, Taylor Lewis finishing it off. Now Abby Harrell's turn to send one over the net. Nice diving attempt there from Fairfield. They keep the next one alive. Dumped across. Harrell goes down to a knee for it. Now tapped over by Lewis. A little good back and forth action right here. Lola Buck-Taylor did everything she could, but that's off her hands, out of play. And the Stags get the point 6-5 here in set 4.
Allie Elliott with no attack errors, sitting over 300. And Villanova's kids there, you saw it with Lola Buck-Taylor, really defending hard. Some passes not perfect this weekend, but it's still early in the season. But Villanova passes well enough as a group to get it done, Even if they're not passing well, they fix it quickly because you have enough good passers on this team.
There's a service error from the Stags, and we are knotted up at 6. So much like we saw early in set 2, here in set 4, very back and forth early.
Yep, and there's the 2 libero rule. MK Ritterbusch out. Lola Buck-Taylor back in for Nova.
Nice set up there from Delaney Moon, tapped across the net there by Mamie Krubali. And in the end, though, Villanova gets the point. Reagan McGivern, she has had such a nice day for the Wildcats.
Yeah, and Alyssa Nelson's having a good start to this set with her home run feeds, her athletic plays, defending, running the offense so well for Nova.
See if that continues. Harrell with the serve. And now Mamie Krubali smashes one home, but the Wildcats keep it alive and get it back over. Krubali, or that time it was Harlan White. She wants a deflection call, but the point goes to Villanova.
I think they got that right. And another shout out to Alyssa Nelson, who made a fantastic play right there. Look at that play. And then Abby Harrell to the ground as well. You talk about 2 of your better players defending at a high level, Mike.
Very impressive, Alyssa Nelson, what she did there, doing the dirty work. And then Abby Harrell going down to a knee on the dive. That's how you win sets and matches. And Villanova, although that one goes into the net right there to make it 8-7. We'll see if the previous point that Villanova won turns out to be a big one here in set 4.
Yeah, when you make hustle plays like that, and Alyssa Nelson is just an absolute star for Nova.
Sent over the net by the Stags. A quick setup there for Taylor Lewis. And Villanova has seen that multiple times in just this set alone. Taylor Lewis finishing the job.
You see what I saw, the old okey doke,
Yeah.
right? They faked the middle, they went to the right pin. Alyssa Nelson fooled everybody.
Trying to add to their lead. Mamie Krubali sends one across the net. She picks up the point off the deflection.
Yeah, and same deal for Fairfield. You're not sure which player gets it there. And a good job for Jandro to kind of fake out everybody and keep us guessing up in the commentator's booth.
Everybody's guessing with these 2 teams battling it out. Smacked over the net by Campbell McKinnon, but the Stags were ready for it. Now sent over again, a dive from Harlan White. Mamie Krubali sends one across the net, and she finds a little open area of that floor for the point.
Yeah, the middle, Harlan White going down to the floor to defend. Fairfield really hustles. They're always organized. They win every year. This is not a surprise. Classic Fairfield, making you have to work for it.
And another stoppage of play to wipe up some sweat on the floor.
Yeah, this time of year, Villanova Classic. It's been rather early in more modern years, so it's hot in here.
Tied at 9 here in set 4. Sent up in the air by Alyssa Nelson to keep it alive. And not much that Taylor Lewis could do right there. It's a point to the Stags. Fairfield has the 10-9 lead in set 4.
Fairfield was out of system there, but they still get the point as Villanova couldn't make anything out of it there. You see a little bit off for Jandro and company were not on the same page, and it ends up working out for the Stags.
Stags creating some chaos. Nelson sets up Lewis, and it works out for the Cats.
Now Taylor Lewis, a productive match. So in come Ava Harris and Ava Merton in your 6-2 rotation. You get 15 subs per set. And Josh is used to running this system. Basically every year this decade, except for the 1 year Drea Campos was the primary setter. It's been a 6-2 almost every year this decade for Nova.
Yeah, a lot of consistency, and of course Josh knows what he's doing, leading the charge.
You had a big, tall, 6'3" setter in Emma Decker for the previous 4 years who set the assist record. So she was in there all the time. And then after that, now it's been a 2-setter mix almost every year.
Nice block at the net by Campbell McKinnon. It turns into another Villanova point.
That's 5 stuffs for Campbell McKinnon.
She's been a force up front.
Yeah, marvelous recruit for Nova. The way they've assembled this roster, just incredible. Josh saw this coming. He said, Nick, this group's going to be really good. He was telling me 2 years ago with all these freshmen coming in. And you can see Villanova surging in the best of ways.
Surging with a chance to finish this match off in this fourth set. Leading 11-10. As Harris sends it across the floor. And that one is a little bit too long. Villanova picks up another point. Just a little bit too much there from Caitlin Cook.
Yeah, she has 10 kills, but that's her 7th error. But she does a lot to make up for it on the back row and her serving.
Villanova 50 kills to just 40 for Fairfield in this one. Big difference. Finesse shot across the net. Set up by Buck Taylor. And tapped across there by Lewis. Nice double block at the net. Wildcats all over the net right now, handling everything that Fairfield sends their way, but still in the end, Fairfield persistent. The Stags get the point.
Villanova blocked successfully 3 times there. Yeah, Fairfield scores the point. And sometimes you do so much right and you still don't win the point in the sequence.
Right, it's like, you know, a pitcher on the mound makes a bunch of pitcher's pitches and then on a 2-strike pitch throws one down in the zone and the batter flicks it into right field for a base hit. I mean, it just sometimes works that way.
I know people don't like analytics, but that's what the analytics help out pitchers, right? Fielding independent pitching, right? You don't get hammered for people dinking and dunking against.
Sure,
right?
sure.
You know that one.
That's why you got to look at the advanced stats every once in a while.
Exactly, right? Yeah.
Speaking of advancing, we'll see which team can pull ahead with a lead here in set 4. We're knotted at 12. And there's a hot shot off the hand of Kat Young. She delivers to give Villanova the 13-12 lead.
9 kills and just 1 error for Kat Young. All the Dallas kids making their statement this weekend in Philadelphia.
Kat Young, incredibly efficient work. Now we'll see what happens there. A little bit too long. Villanova with the point. Now Villanova with a 2-point lead in a set that has been back and forth the entire time. Cats leading 2-1. The chance to finish it off here in set 4. A little fake out on the dump over. McKinnon. And that one falls out of play. It's another Villanova point. Well, how about that, Nick? Up at the net, the Stags looked like they were getting ready for a set, but they dumped it over. Villanova handled it.
And the Wildcats are putting Fairfield under pressure there with their serve game.
So we'll take a quick break and reset the scene when we come back on the Villanova Sports Network.
When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here. When local kids go pro in Philly, it's a reflection of us all. Youth coaches, family, and the hometown health insurer who covers them. Independence Blue Cross has had Quinn and Kevin Sullivan's back since day one, because we take care of our own here.
15-12, Villanova leads Fairfield in set 4. Looking to finish this one off. Let's take a look at the Fairfield season so far. The Stags are 3-1. Wins over Old Dominion and Towson to open up the year. 3 players named to the preseason All-MAC team. 3 excellent returners in Elliott, Walker, and Krubali. The one loss to West Virginia, which was a tight loss, but this is a Fairfield team that's looking for its 3rd straight MAC title to go back to the NCAA tournament. Villanova up 3, looking for more, and they do. They get more out of it with Campbell McKinnon sending one over the net, and a double touch. Tough one there for Maya Walker.
And they had a 2-0 lead on West Virginia, who added a lot of transfers. And Emma Bartolotti, we've seen her a little bit. She had 19 kills, and West Virginia had over 20 blocks.
Campbell McKinnon continues to dominate. That one was just too easy for her in the middle. Smacks it down for another Villanova point, 16-12.
You have athletic middles like this for Nova. It's going to be a weapon against a lot of teams. And a lot of delays this weekend because they have to keep mopping up the sweat because it's so hot and humid outside, and that trickles into Nevin, as many of us know. And every Villanova Classic, every year when it's this early, it's always a million degrees in here.
Kat Young sends one across the net, dumped over by the Stags. Good work up front. Abby Harrell smashes one. It was knocked out of play by the Stags, and it's another Villanova point. It's 18-12, and Nick, they're pulling away.
Abby Harrell, 13 kills. What a start to the season. No surprise there. She's poised for another big year. You have a full team around her. This is just looking like a good season already. Yeah. This next group of freshmen, really good again for Nova. This is a really complete roster. And they're really just getting started. Imagine what next year could be like and beyond that, right? This is still just the infancy of this group, and they're already cooking.
Right. I mean, it's, you know, don't want to get too far ahead, but also you have to be excited looking ahead, knowing that like, this group could be together for a while, and just playing so efficient early on, not a lot of mistakes, and good teams don't make many mistakes, but they're well coached. This is a team that you mentioned it early on in the broadcast. It's a young Villanova team, but they have experience because all of these kids played early last year.
Yes, if you get playing time, then you grow up real quickly. It's not the old case of, well, I didn't play as a freshman. Well, these kids played all last year and played in big matches, made the postseason, won in the Big East tournament. Gobble, gobble, right? Big East tournament is not over Thanksgiving this year. They moved it up a weekend before Thanksgiving. So if you lose, you can go home and see your family, and you might be able to go home and spend time with your family no matter what. So it'll look a little different this year with the timing and down to 4 teams instead of 6.
Out of the timeout, Villanova up 6. Nice dig on the dive there from Lola Buck-Taylor. She's been fantastic today, one of the unsung heroes of this match so far. She sets another one up, and now Campbell McKinnon adds another point. It just does not stop with Campbell McKinnon.
The athletes that Villanova has, they're going to be able to win a lot of these longer matches by wearing down other teams. And you can see how well they hold up.
Well, there's a service error for the Wildcats. We have not seen many of those at all today. That gets Fairfield a point to stop the Nova run. But, Nick, you mentioned the Big East tournament last year. Second straight Big East tournament appearance for the Wildcats last year, looking to make it 3 in a row this year. They beat number 3 UConn in a 5-set match last year before losing to number 2 Marquette in a sweep. It was an impressive run for the Cats, and that was an impressive hit there from Abby Harrell, who comes away with another kill shot.
And Creighton and Marquette still might dominate again, but their rosters are completely different compared to last year, and they have new coaches. So it's going to be at least a little different when the whole Big East plays them this year. It's going to be a little different. I'm just saying.
It looks like this Villanova team will be prepared for anything, though, with as deep and athletic as they are.
All right, Margot Randall's in, sophomore out of Kansas City.
There's a Fairfield point. And it's now 20-14. So Villanova in control of set 4. 5 points away from a match victory, but it's not over yet. Fairfield doing its best to stay in this. Sent over the net by Delaney Moon, who's been impressive today. Abby Harrell has her shot denied, but it was denied out of bounds, and Villanova gets the point because of it.
Now you'll really get a test in terms of height and athleticism tomorrow when you play High Point. All their players are very new, so they're still working on some things, sorting some things out, talking with their head coach, Ryan Meek. But they look the part and have size, including a 6'5" setter. But Fairfield beat them yesterday.
That one sent too far out of play, and Villanova now 3 points away from finishing off this match. They lead it 22-14 in set 4.
Yeah, hitting over 500, dominating this set. 16 kills with just 1 error. Abby Harrell's taken off. She just gets better and better as the match goes along.
Everybody where they're supposed to be, it seems like, at all times. This time, too hot to handle right there for 2 Villanova blockers up front. The Stags get a point back, but Nick, it feels like in this set, it's every time Fairfield stops a run, Villanova comes back and adds 2 or 3 more points.
Correct. Allie Elliott's had a good day with no attack errors. She's such a producer. I love it, the fixer,
yeah,
according to Coach Samara.
Every team could use a fixer. Too much to handle right there. Villanova with the sophomore Margot Randall smashing one across the floor, gets the point.
Josh loves Margot Randall. She has a big arm. She can score. He has middles that can score.
Yeah, comes from a Villanova family. Her dad and 2 uncles were Villanova athletes. Mom also went to Villanova. Wildcat pride in her blood.
A lot of connections to Villanova, a lot of them.
23-15 Villanova, 2 points away from putting this one in the win column. Fairfield with its backs against the wall. Too long there from Mamie Krubali, and now it's match point for the Cats.
Wildcats looking to stay unbeaten, Mike. They're beating good teams to start this year. This is looking really good.
Tough test in their early non-conference schedule, but they are passing easily. Match point here for the Wildcats. Can they finish it off? Sent over the net by the Cats. Little miscommunication there. The Stags keep it alive, and the Wildcats finish this one off with a 4-set victory. Kat Young, the finisher in set 4.
Thank you very much, Mike. With all the Dallas kids, it's Kat Young, the finishing touch. And Nova is unscathed to start the year.
That's exactly it, the finishing touch right there. She knew it right away. Stone cold with the facial expression right there. That's just a really impressive 4-set victory for Villanova. 25-15 in set 4. They took set 1. Fairfield came back 1 set 2. Then Villanova dominant in sets 3 and set 4. Fairfield had just 25 points combined in the final 2 sets.
And Villanova hit 400 over a conference champ. They beat a conference champ in Yale last night, and they'll take on a conference champ tomorrow in High Point. I was looking at this last night. They haven't started this well since 2018. That team started 5-0, and they'll have a chance to match that tomorrow.
A lot of good momentum with this Villanova program for Josh Steinbach's squad right now. Some final totals. Villanova, a big difference in the kill department, 60-43. They led by 17. And then you look at the aces, 9 for Villanova, just 2 for Fairfield, and the blocks were big as well. 8 blocks for the Wildcats, just 3 for Fairfield. All in all, Nick, Villanova dominates this match, and after we were tied at a set apiece through 2, Villanova pulled away.
That serving in the 3rd set really was a factor. Even though Fairfield had more swings today, Villanova hit a marvelous percentage. And this group obviously up front on the front row. It's a real complete team and a big test tomorrow. But what a start for Villanova. Abby Harrell, another big day with 15 kills. McKinnon, Kat Young. Really solid win again for Nova.
Villanova wins 3-1. They move to 4-0. Fairfield drops to 3-2. For our outstanding production crew here at Villanova University and my broadcast partner, Nick Montagna, my name is Michael Marcantonini. Thanks for tuning in on the Villanova Sports Network.